I was almost going to get a boob job, and I actually said I was going to show pussy on this particular show, but she bolted. My cat, pussy cat. You can email me, my name at Dirt Bike Test, and I can answer the questions on this show. So that's how I start my KTM 300. You're never going to pick my phone up at the bar, are you? Okay, there's no sound. There is sound. It's working. This is really strange. It'll probably be broken, but I'll try to fix it. So live from Prump, Nevada, Valley of the Dirt People. This is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. My name is Jimmy Lewis. And what the hell kind of show do we have for you tonight? It's going to be a good one. I don't have time to do this show. The show is a pain in my ass, but I love it. So I didn't have time because I need to clean up my shop because I've just been treating it like a garbage disposal. Or not a garbage disposal, like it collects cool stuff, but cool stuff needs to go on motorcycles and then parts pile up here. So I'll show you that in a minute. But to get this show started, I'm going to head over to my phone in a second and give my buddy Trevor a call. So let's see if the chat works. You can type into the chat. If it's really slow, like we start dropping frames and it's glitchy, that's your computer, not mine. And if it's not making sound, that's your computer, not mine, except for when it is my computer. Then you have to tell me on the messages. So you type it into the chat. So you type your questions in the chat, or you can just, I want to know where all the guys are that are just constantly giving out bad advice to posts that people put up that are asking for good advice. I want to know where those guys are and why they don't watch this show. And if they do, why they don't type in. Because I think they're missing the point. So anyways, again, my name is Jimmy Lewis. This show would not be possible without some of our sponsors. Of course, Dirt Bike Test. Dirt Bike Test is what Trevor Hunter does. We're going to call him right now. Trevor goes and rides motorcycles, and then he, let's see, here's his number. I'm going to call him and put him on speakerphone. He tests motorcycles, and he doesn't get... Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. Yeah, Trevor hung up on me already. So, yeah, he's probably, his dad probably told him he can't talk on the phone right now. So, The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my shop, and then I'm going to talk to Trevor. We have Rooster Endo tonight. Amazing Rooster Endo. Everybody's favorite segment. We got some submissions. So if you want to, vote, you can type in the chat because that's the only way I can communicate with you in this particular thing. So yeah, you can see all this crap over here. This is a disaster area, big time. So, and I might even be able to get my other, it's kind of charging. See, it's dead already. Let's see if it comes to life. Does it come to life? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Did it come to life? No. So it didn't work. Yeah, as usual. Does the cat get paid? Mike wants to know. Yeah, in food, and she's pissed off because I probably should have fed her before I started the show, but I didn't. Let's see if why did that thing die? It was working earlier. Okay. So I might try to fix that live during the show as well. And then we're going to try Trevor one more time. He blocked me, I'm sure. He doesn't want to talk about whatever he has to talk about. So anyways, and I got a bottle of tequila. It would be nice if I had a bartender, but I'm just going to have to do that myself too. So the reason there's no co-host is because everybody's afraid to co-host with me. I scared John away, and Jerry Bernardo said you didn't watch enough of the things, but I did upload those things. Trevor, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You're watching it live on the internets right now, right?
Always.
It's the best show that you can watch on the internets. So,
absolutely.
When everybody can hear you, go ahead and let's see one more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little quiet, but I'll just hold you up closer to the microphone. So how's dirt bike test doing?
Dirt bike test is dirt bike testing.
Okay. Yeah, because, there's a lot of people that talk the talk like they actually go and test, but there's not very many people that actually do that level of work.
I like to think that we do.
Yeah. Well, I know you do. I know you originally you didn't, but I taught you pretty well.
You taught me a few things. I won't argue that.
Yeah, it's hard to hold the phone and do this, but tonight's bottle is Milagro because it's kind of going on a low tide situation here. So I'm going to make sure that goes away tonight. Have a couple of shots and a good cheers to my friend Kelly who got me this really it's a rock salt shot glass. And so you don't. It's got like a little glass liner in the center, but there's a little bit of salt. So I mean, I usually don't like salt with my tequila, but it does help the taste sometimes. Have you ever tried that, Trevor?
I'm not a big salt fan, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would like it. But
maybe. Salt's good for you if you ride your mountain bike as much as you do.
It is, but maybe not in that form. It might not be.
The
ideal.
If you don't chase it down with a little tequila.
I mean, maybe that's what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. Yeah, there's a high possibility of that. So welcome to the show, Trevor. What have we been testing?
We have been testing a lot of different off-road bikes. I've been racing the Kawi KX4DX.
Why do you race the Kawasaki is the question.
2 reasons. One, it's one of my favorite 450s at the moment.
But it's slow.
Slow isn't bad though. It can be made much faster very easily.
Right.
But slow, especially for an off-road bike, isn't necessarily a bad thing, as we've said many times.
Yeah, well, it not just off-road bikes, but a lot of times, when slow means kind of fast in a weird way.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's
slow means traction,
rideability,
and yes,
all those kind of things. So I'm trying to. Mojave Mike Brown says hi. So hi, Mike. I don't know who Mojave Mike Brown is, or maybe I do, but I don't remember. Let's see. I was trying to get something else working here. Tracking, motion tracking. Get this camera working. So what? So we've got a Honda 450X.
Yep.
RX.
Yep.
And
got bikes all pretty much all new for this year, same as the motocross bike. New chassis. Engine's actually pretty similar to the old one. Just different airbox, and intake, mapping refinements and whatnot, but engine's largely the same. Mainly the chassis and suspension that got a lot of the updates, which is where we felt the bike needed to be changed, more so than the engine. Engine on the last bike was actually really, really good.
So, have you ridden it?
I've ridden it a little bit. I rode it at the intro day back at Moto Ventures in Anza, and then I rode it at the Paula off-road loop.
Oh, the one where you were cutting the course. Is John?
I was trying to study the lines and figure out what I.
Good, got it.
So yeah.
And then you're also Yamaha, one of the sponsors of this show. Yep. So don't say anything bad about it. What happened to our YZ450FX?
We ran into some mechanical problems. I haven't torn it apart or done anything yet. I suspect it's a fuel pump went out on the bike, or is going out, I should say.
Is going out. So it started going slow.
It started going slow.
Was this at the Silver State?
No, I was just riding at Kauai over the weekend.
Okay.
So I did a big victory burnout at Speedway on Saturday night.
Oh, did you do dirt bike at Speedway?
I did.
Okay, so was your bike ever unattended in the pits at Costa Mesa Speedway? Like you weren't looking straight at it?
A lot of times.
Sabotage, full on. Dude, people, okay, I'm going to tell you what happened, because you know those Oxleys, they run a loose program over there. And I used to win Harley night. Like I have 3 or 4 years running, and then definitely motorcycle demolition derby champion there a couple times. So I got some experience there. Those Speedway guys, they didn't like me because I come in and the Metal Militia didn't like me either. The Metal Militia Light that used to show up for demolition derby. So I have a bad reputation there, and you're associated with me. So somebody jacked with that bike.
I think it very well could have been my brother, because he was popping off saying how he's going to beat me and he's the best and nobody does it better than him. But
sounds like he's taking lessons from me.
You might have saw my heat race and saw how good I was going, and he needed to do something.
Does it have a dry brake on it, Trevor?
It does have a dry brake.
Okay, so what's the potential that dirt got in there?
Highly likely.
There's our problem. I don't like to point out the obvious. Have you seen how messy my shop is? Have you seen this? This should really disgust you. This is it kind of looks like your shop. I don't you remember what your
I wouldn't call ours a shop, but
well, yeah, I have a big shop, and this is how you can tell where my stress level is at. See, I shouldn't even be doing this show, but I want to clean my shop. So what I'm going to do in this show is actually clean the shop. That's the reason for my my show tonight. Is I'm going to stand here and clean my shop, and people can watch it because they'll watch anything on the internet. It's obvious. I was almost going to get a boob job, and I actually said I was going to show pussy on this particular show, but she bolted. My cat, wow. Pussy cat, yeah. So I might not be able to hold my thing there. So if you have questions, motorcycle questions, you ask them in the chat. I glance over at the screen that's over there, and then I answer them. That's how this show works. So when are we riding the DRZ 400?
That would be a Scott Hoffman question.
Okay, because I heard they only let people in California ride it, and you know what I think about people in California. That's why I didn't get to ride it.
They're the best people, right?
They want those kind of California kind of people, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, that's I'm waiting for that, because people have been asking what do I think of it, and I can't tell you because I don't know. Something's gonna blow up. There's the death sound over here. Let me take these batteries off the charger. And then have you got a pair of the new CD boots yet?
I haven't got a new pair of CD boots
since Bill Baroth left, sold the company.
Well before that even. Yeah,
yeah. So I need to get a new pair of those. They have a new one of those. Have you tried any of the new Climb backpacks?
I have not. I think I rely on you as the resident Climb ambassador.
Well, why would you want to shill for a company to be telling you how things are?
I don't know. I've just gotten used to it, I
guess. so I tried the new one, and it's different than the old one, which I really like, the Knack Pack. And so I don't know. I'm gonna have to say I think I'm gonna stick with the old Knack Pack. I'm gonna try the bigger one the next time I ride, but I'm still a little tender on the ribs. Maybe I shouldn't have rode a Husaberg 570. That pulled pretty hard.
Earth-shattering 570cc motor.
I was blowing Preston Campbell's doors off the whole time we were riding. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Guy who can easily, now we got a big giant bumblebee floating around inside this place. That could be really detrimental to this show. Hold on a second. I'll fix it. Come here, buddy. You can leave or you can get burnt. I'll give him a minute. I don't want to kill anything on this show. So let's see. When are we doing this 450 off-road thing?
Maybe when I get some time.
Time
and energy.
Okay. What about, isn't there an SRA Grand Prix coming up?
There is the SRA Grand Prix night race coming up. Okay. Are you going to race it?
Well, is it team?
It's a team race, but you can Ironman it if you want.
Is there a pro purse?
There's zero money.
Zero money. Oh, then I mean, because there's zero money for anybody else because I usually win night races, night team races. I have a pretty good record at.
I've been. We are the defending champions of the night team race series, so we got some competition.
You and who else?
Me and Cody Lee from Yamaha.
Uh-huh. Okay, do you have to ride with do you have to like a pro and a novice?
Nope.
Just any two riders?
Oh, I mean, you could maybe consider me a novice days, so I guess you could say pro and novice.
Now, I'll call up Dave Donatoni. We'll smoke you. It's just, it's like, it's proven. You know, or I call Spud Walters, used to race with that guy. We used to win. I know this Johnny Campbell guy. He's pretty good too. We used to win some night races. But I had to, he fired me. He fired me because I wanted to ride like other bikes than Hondas because it was my job. So so I had to go back to riding with Donatoni, and we just collected a lot of money, especially when we're riding CR 500s. Let me tell you. So anyhow, Trevor, thanks for joining me on the show. I'm going to get to cleaning up my shop and killing this bumblebee before it attacks me. It's probably my divine intervention, I'm sure.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. What do you have to scurry off to? You got another hot date with Nitzel? Nitzen?
No, Nitzel left me for I don't even know where he's in Indiana or something today.
Oh, at another motorcycle intro that the big books get to go to?
Yeah, the one we didn't get invited to.
What are they riding? Sherkos or something, or Fanics?
I don't even think it's I think it's a street bike thing or something.
Oh, he has to do street bikes now?
I think I think it's I don't even know. I don't think it's dirt bikes though.
Huh. Maybe he's doing quads. Sean would have him do quads.
He's a glamorous Ocotillo guy, so I'm sure he has his fair share of time on quads.
Yeah. Right on. Okay, Trevor, well, I'll let you go. If you have any questions, just throw them up in the chat. I can answer 9 out of 10 without referring to a reference manual. And for all that information, you can thank Yamaha for sponsoring this show. And let me know what you screwed up on that Yamaha to make it stop. Because I've got one right over there. I've got two of them. Actually, I'm actually starting to build my WR250 up. I'm putting all my goofy Jimmy stuff on it. Flex handlebars, Scott steering stabilizer, all those kind of things. Certain kind of exhaust. Oh, I see some pussy cruising around the shop. It's going to get good here. But anyways, thanks to Yamaha, and thank you, Trevor, for all your hard work, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Oh, hey, I have to talk to your dad about having a race here in Pahrump. I did some negotiating on your behalf, but I need to get a cut of the action.
They're looking for venues for this year, so maybe you can the Jimmy Lewis Grand Prix.
This would be really good. Because I got some access. So, anyways, okay, talk to you soon.
Yeah.
See ya. Hey, everybody, that was Trevor Hunter. Trevor wanted to discuss something else that came up on the board. So it probably favors him. So let's see something. Oh, it's about his oil testing video. Okay, I'll get to that question in a minute too, because I had discussions with an oil scientist. So as promised, as promised, there we go. There's Selma. She's really interested in the bee that's buzzing into the thing right now, but you've had your pussy on the show. So let me get over here and ask the question. Do I have a story to tell about landing on your head? Asks George Justice. He says, a video came across my feed with the Triumph, and I thought you mentioned a crash. So no, I landed on my ribs. I was riding a KTM when it happened, and it was 100% my fault for not listening to the bike telling me that I was riding on not Pirelli tires, because I got used to riding my Tenere with these really good Pirelli tires, and I hopped on a KTM that had a different brand of tires, and I probably thought I was, anyways, I ran out of talent. So that's what happened. And if somebody tries to tell you that it was their idea to have somebody follow me around with a camera and it would make a good podcast, you can blame George, but nobody's following me around with a camera. It's all automatic. So this is my idea. This whole show concept, everything is my idea. Oh boy. So I'm going to start putting stuff away. Mikey says, hell of a shop. It is a hell of a shop here because stuff just shows up here from companies that I enjoy working with, companies that I believe in their products, and they support this podcast as well. So if you want to get some flex handlebars, let me know. I might be able to send you out a discount code. You can email me. It's my name. If you remember what my name was, I've only said it 100 times, at dirtbiketest.com. That bumblebee is just driving me nuts. I wonder if you can hear it. Whoa. Hey, Selma, come and get this thing. There you go. It's a big, giant black one. Okay, there she goes. So here's how this show works here. Like I said, Scott Steering Stabilizer, another product that I use. If you think this show is just a promotion for all of the companies that I work with, you're halfway right, but it isn't. Because I will tell you. So if you ask me, hey, Jimmy, what do you think about this versus that or the other? I will tell you the goods and the bads, the pros and the cons, because I can tell you a couple reasons why this isn't the best steering stabilizer. I can tell you reasons why you wouldn't want to run flex handlebars and stuff like that. So that's how this works. I see questions popping up. I'm going to get to them, but not before I get to the bottom of this little guy here. Again, Milagro, a good standard issue go-to. If you know anything about this podcast, we do enjoy a little tequila. It's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday and tequila. Let me slide over here to the thing. Mikey Burton wants to try some flex handlebars. Yes, you do. And I can, if you're ever curious about flex handlebars, I'm going to walk over to my my KTM that's right over here if I don't trip over my stand. All you have to do, I think you can see this, you just take your hand, if you can find a bike with flex handlebars, and go like this. Just hammer drop down on that. And then you walk over to a bike that doesn't have it, like this. This is somebody else's half of my Husaberg. And you just go like that. You just do this hammer drop, and you feel a significant difference. And you can tell right away that the bars are doing something. Yeah, they're heavier. Some people feel them move, but they're really precise. There's other bar dampening systems out there. I've tried all of them. And the flex handlebars are the ones that work for me, especially for a guy with bad wrists. The next question that comes up, that could get Western with the bees. Well, I already tried to burn it, but no, I put my attack cat on the case here. Cat, this is Selma, the shop cat. She cruises around and protects us from all the other critters and stuff like that. For those that run heavy-duty tubes, asks Mike Kmet, what pressure do you run in the desert? A mix of fast, mostly hardback with some sand silt. He's running in the high 20s. Man, that's way too high. Okay, so even with tubes, the highest I ever ran was 16 PSI. That was the highest, because once you start going over 16 PSI, doesn't matter what tube or anything you have in there, it deflects and moves around. And there's a difference between heavy-duty tubes and ultra-heavy-duty tubes. So I could actually show you. I might actually have, I'm going to look over here. I have a lot of stuff laying around here. I have a tube laying around here. This tube's sitting here with air in it because I want to see if it's any good, and then I'll throw it in a bike that I'm not going to run a moose in. And so if you cut it and you take a slice, and I got a slice of tube here someplace, maybe. Got a lot of stuff in the shop. So if you take a slice and you can see this has got the rim lock pulled out of it. That's what happened to this because somebody was running too little pressure, and they had their rim lock tightened down to the rim. But you go by the thickness. When you go from normal thin tube, and this is this is kind of like a heavy duty tube. I'm looking to see if I can see what brand it is. So this is a Bridgestone. So this is a Bridgestone motocross heavy, not the heavy. It's like medium sized. So when you go to the thicker to heavy duty, and then those ultra heavy duties, those ones get so thick that I've seen them pinch and because there's not enough room in the tire and they fold over, and then they stay folded, and they can either dry out and or they land on each other, and then they're already folded and they tend to pinch. So I don't run the ultra heavy duties. I run heavy duty tubes, and I generally run them at 12, 13, 14 maybe. Rarely do I go up higher. Highest I ever did was 16. Adventure bikes is a different story, but on dirt bikes, run lower pressure and just quit pegging rocks. If that's what, quit hitting stuff that's causing you to get the flat tires if it's constantly happening. And when you do get it, when you get the flat tire, pay close attention to how it pinched. And you can, a lot of times you can see if the tube has been folded. When I do put tubes in there, I put baby powder in there that acts as a lubricant between the outside of the tire and the tube, so it moves around. And then I make sure my valve stem is not tightened down, it's loose. And I make sure that I don't get the tube underneath the bead, I don't get the tube underneath the rim lock, all the common things. I would say about 60% of pinch flats that I see have nothing to do with the tube and the tire pressure. They have to do with the installation. Just like 90% of moose failures I see, maybe 95% of moose failures I see have to do with installation. So thanks for that question. Oh, Mike sent me $10 for the shot of tequila. No, that's going to go to pay for. So we found out why we were having our technical difficulties. I have to buy a new app to run my cameras because now they won't let you stream more than one camera. And that's why the show was goofing up the last couple issues. So, Mike, that's going directly to my $14 a month subscription to keep my cameras up and running. This is going to go. Chris Reel is going to add flex bars to his new bike. Awesome. Let's see. Yes, you need to get the fast code. Mike, send me an email. Doug Derby. I like my Scott steering dampers. I have 6 of them. I have you beat. Fear was flats. Good to know. Let's see. Good to know. Woods Fire Service Road, high teens, but was concerned with high speed hits. Now, with tubes, like it takes a lot to get all the way through, and then just smash it so much that it's even whether between. And I'm not a scientist. I just play one on this podcast. But the difference between like 16 and 20 in a crushing blow, I think is, I'm pretty sure some physicist or something, Chris Reel, you listening, can figure this out. How much more it would take to actually get it. But I think once you get that super high speed, super hard hit that's going to go all the way through and smash that tire onto the rim, I don't think that extra little bit of pressure is going to help all that much. Maybe when you're really low pressure, it would do it a little bit easier. But in order for it to really clamp down and pinch, cause the tube to, because then you have the pressure in the tire trying to escape. And I don't know if the tube would make like a little bubble or something that would do stuff. But anyways, that's what I think about that. Good. All caught up in questions. Okay. So we had a question. Trevor did a little thing about oil, and and I just got an email from YouTube that says, I'm stealing someone's music and I can't share and they want to share the revenue with me. Go ahead. Take the $3. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Trevor did a thing where at a track day, he went between Yamaha, petroleum-based oil or a semi-synthetic oil and a full synthetic oil, and he noticed a big difference in the shifting. And I noticed that Trevor didn't give enough information. I thought he should have given more information about some of the characteristics of oil and different stuff. So I sent it to my good buddy Chris Reel, who chimed in through a couple comments back. I don't know if that story got updated because I've been knee-deep in trenches and pulling wires to conduit and connecting irrigation lines, that kind of stuff for the last week. So I forgot to check up on that. But I have done those kind of tests more specifically. I've noticed it just in changing oil, different brands and different types, how shifting improved. But mostly I noticed the clutch. And I did a lot of stuff with Recluse back in the day. They were working on developing their oil and some different clutch oils. And because clutch performance is so critical, I was doing it more in an off-road capacity, not necessarily motocross, where everything's about the start and tuning the clutch for the start. Or there's guys that just abusive of the clutch. There's so many different things, and the oil plays a very critical role in that. But for sure, it can have an effect on shifting. And what Trevor said matches everything I've ever felt. Going to a synthetic oil tends to help with the shifting. But a lot of times the full synthetic oil is actually too slippery and can have adverse effects to the clutch. So now you know. That's what we know. So going to check for the questions one more time. Yeah, Mike says he donated $10 to us through the YouTubes, which is awesome, and he says the advice is worth the $10, which I agree. So really appreciate it though, because we're getting filthy rich off of this, right, Selma? We're gonna buy you some cat food maybe with some of that money. If you want to send bottles of tequila our way, that works too. You can send us stuff like Milagro or nice ones like Classy Azul. Follow me on the Instagrams and you'll see pictures of the tequila. So another way you can support us is by shopping through Rocky Mountain ATVMC. Look, I buy these things. So believe it or not, I'm always testing stuff, constantly trying different things and testing different stuff on my fleet of motorcycles. I have plenty of them. I used to have a riding school. I had a rental fleet. Was always testing stuff in there. And then when things break, as you've seen on the show before, I cut things apart. This is a KTM fuel pump. Everybody's heard that KTM fuel pumps just constantly fail. Oh my God, it fails. Well, Trevor had a Yamaha one that failed, and this KTM one, and I'll kind of go into that. How good are chain guides? Well, this is an Acerbis chain guide, and since I don't ride very much, I very rarely wear stuff out, as you can see, because that's what the old one looks like. Oh, the new one's already on the bike. I have pictures someplace, but anyways, so this is a Acerbis chain guide that has a lot of Baja miles and stuff in it, and so I'm constantly testing stuff. This is a replaceable part, so I thought about just pulling this off and putting a new one on, but the studs pulled out. Now I could, and this thing definitely took some hits. I could take that back off, throw it in there, and then just buy this part, but I had another one of these complete in stock, so I just threw it on there. How do I know how chain guides work? Well, these are TM Design Works chain guides. These are also really good. A little bit more pricey. They also have a replaceable block. And this one took enough hits to where it broke before I replaced the block. And then this one here is still good. And I think it was in testing, I pulled one off one bike, the other. These are things that need to get filed. Probably, yeah, that one, yeah, this one, as you can see, I put another bolt in there. It broke down here, and it might have run on a couple rocks down there. And this obviously took a pretty catastrophic hit. So I probably took this off because I didn't want to have a failure. And I have those things hanging around in case we need one to use an example. But the Acerbis one, I'll probably put that in the stockpile of parts to show when something goes wrong. And then here's a stock one, for instance. So I was doing a little bit of a comparison between all of the different chain guides and why you would want to run one, versus the other. One thing, that TM Design Works does is they encapsulate this front piece, where the KTM one, you can see the difference in thickness right here. And then same with the Acerbis ones. And with the Acerbis ones, I actually run a Bulletproof Designs stiffener on that to help with those kind of things. So some of the stuff, I have no idea why I just went off down that tangent, but that was one of the things. We were talking about fuel pumps. So this is the bottom of the basket that went on my fuel pump that after 580 hours, I think it was, I calculated, it wore out this little disc to a level that's not even measurable. So the problem was, this looks good, doesn't it? But it's not. So this screen, which would stop stuff from going in there, actually, this screen kind of died. And it looks, when you sit in there and look at it like this, it looks okay. But nope, it's got a peekaboo. And so I was kind of diagnosing, what caused the failure on that. How did it get there? And when fuel pumps fail, most of the time, just like we talked about with Trevor earlier, it's dirt getting in there. It's dirt and grime and stuff. Contaminants, like somehow you get a lot of water in your fuel, things like this that causes things to corrode. And I took this whole fuel pump apart. I checked the pressure release valve and all this stuff. Cut everything apart, looked at it, figured it out. Checked there was a little bit of wear on the brushes in there. So this is the kind of stuff you ask, how do you know these kind of things like that? Okay, so I'm going to put some of that stuff away. But back to the Tusk stuff. So, like I said, I had some wheel bearings go out. So I ordered up, because I've used All Balls, I've used Pivot Works bearings, have not used these. So I'm going to throw them in a wheel and find out how long they last. I put it in there. I'll write down the hours that it went in there, and then I'll know. And so when somebody says, "How do you know that?" Well, because I've tested it or I've used it. So those are that's the answers there. And then these are for my Yamahas. I picked up some magnetic drain plugs for the Yamahas. They don't come with magnetic drain plugs, so at the next oil change, these will go in. I'm going to put them on the shelf right over here, so they're handy. And then hopefully I remember that I put them there, so that I can do that. So I've got that stuff set up there. Look, the space down here is actually getting a little bit. It's getting a little bit cleaner. There's some room. I'm going to start throwing the tools in the toolbox, and it's going to start looking magical, as you can imagine. So back to the questions. I'll swing over here. So ask questions in the chat. If you have them, we can answer most questions without referring to the reference manual. And we don't have any new ones. But there are 30 of you out here. Like I said earlier in the show, I want to know where all the other experts are that are answering questions constantly, and especially the guys that are giving bad advice because they probably read it someplace else on the internet. I think some of these people come on here, listen to what I say, and then they try to regurgitate it, and they don't get the answer right. So kind of be aware of that. And when this microphone dies, the one that I'm wearing, please let me know in the chat, because I know it's going to die because it wasn't fully charged up. I'm going to check to see if my other thing is working. Nope, it's still not working. But as you watch, you see the little up in the little corner, we have our sponsor of the show. Later on tonight, Rooster Endo is coming up. That's brought to you by Taco Moto. Taco Moto is going to give a $100 gift certificate to someone who gives us the most pleasure with the Rooster Endo. And if you ever wonder what's inside of the Taco Moto billet fuel thing, this is that. This is actually a prototype one that Mike had sent out that had 400 or 500 hours in it. And so when that fuel pump failed, this fuel filter was on it. And we got some little pieces of grit out of it because I back flushed it to see how much, because sometimes you see this carbon, material from the brushes, and I didn't see that much, but I back flushed it, and we got some of the pieces of hose that was coming from the inside of one of the hoses also. So that was also some of the problems, because the fuel pump was kind of intermittent. It was still pumping, but it was kind of plugging up, and we know why, because once this filter failed, then it actually plugged up inside the pump. And so even though some pieces made it into here, it never got to the fuel injector, which is really good. But this was the root cause of the problem. Checking stuff out. Doug Derby says, there are so many pods and tube shows about bike work, and much of it is Yeah, that's what he said. I every once in a while I watch some of them. There's a couple guys out there that do some pretty interesting stuff, and I've done a rebuild of the KTM 500. I've done 300 top ends in here, worked on stuff, and people go, "Well, you're a hack, or you do it this way or that way." Everybody can do it their way. Generally, my stuff is pretty successful. I very rarely had racing DNFs. I was my own mechanic most of the time. When I did have factory mechanics, I paid very close attention to how they did stuff. And there's a much different way that I prep a bike that I'm just going trail riding on versus something that I would race. And a lot of times I'm just trying to get it ready to go ride, kind of like what you're doing in your garage or your shop, however that works as well. So, but yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. But I'm more curious about the comments. So when somebody I'm a moderator on one of the EXC forums, and one of the things, and I don't really go to there that often because I just get so frustrated that a post has been up for 20 minutes, it has 15 comments, and generally the people that are commenting haven't read the other comments, and so they're repeating the same information, the bad information, and then you get 30 comments, 10 of them are absolute garbage, and then the guy who posted the question didn't take the time to come back and tell you what he did and how he got his answer. This is a pet peeve of mine. If somebody is going to give you some advice, I want to know what advice you took and how you got to, what your final solution was. Did it work? Because if it doesn't work, you need to come back and say, I tried this and this is what happened. Because there are a lot of really bad advice out there. I'll tell you that right now. I try not to give any of that. So anyhow, Milagro, for those that are wondering, and yeah, this little salt shot glass is really nice. It gives you a little really nice lick on lips. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting tools away. And let's see, ball of my hand. Doesn't know what a hand is. Let's see, how are we going to do this? There we go. Is it going to work? There we go. Okay, we'll see how this works out. You might get a lot of crotch shots and stuff like that, but people ask, how do you organize your toolbox? I'm like, perfect. I organize it perfect for myself, which is so all these are pliers-like things. So that's going to go down here in the pliers drawer, which also is the same as the hammers drawer. And then I have a screwdrivers drawer. And that's most of the screwdrivers. The wire cutters go in the pliers drawer. The adjustable speed wrench. This goes in the pliers drawer. This goes in the pliers drawer. Allen wrench is own special drawer. If I had my other camera that failed to work because I need to pay for that subscription, you'd be able to see because I could wear the chest cam, and then you get all this other stuff. So right now I'm cleaning up my shop. And if you want to be a chemical sponsor of this show, so this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, today in the shop version. Feel free to, I will use your chemicals. Not exclusively, unless you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, then I can probably exclusively use your chemicals. And then I'll just forget the name of every other chemical that I use. Because that's the way that I sort of do it. Sockets going back. Allen wrench is going back. Allen wrench goes there. These are my wheel spacers from one of my bad wheel bearings. And so just for reference, like, so when your wheel bearings start going bad, the next thing that happens is the lip seal here. And this has some nice sharp edges in there because these were wobbling around and putting a load on the so it was running kind of hard on the seals, which are these here. And if you ever wonder, like, so what is a here's something to show you. So again, like I say, I tear things apart a lot to see how what happens to stuff. So for instance, this was a wheel bearing that went bad, and I kind of wondered why. So I punched it apart and kind of looked at it. This one, believe it or not, actually cut itself in half. It was run for so long that it cut itself, it cracked. And I think what happened is it finally, inside the ring here, a bearing, the ball actually kind of finally seized, and it did an explosion. But luckily it didn't do any damage to the hub, or none that was detectable. So yeah, so I saved stuff like that. So I can go back, and if somebody has a question, I can show you why. Again, here's another wheel bearing in my wheel bearing collection down there. We were talking about chain guides earlier. I don't ride very much, so it's not that often that I get a worn out part like that. So that goes in. There's a box over here of worn out parts. That's where that one chain guide is going to go for sure. So I'll put that with that. It goes over there. Putting sockets away. Run over to the questions real quick. What are the parameters for the Climb AI air vest to deploy? I wanted the bars at low speed and it did not deploy. Well, I don't know because I have not tested the Climb one yet. I have not tested the Alpine Stars yet. I put it on back when it was an early thing. The rally guys had them, and so I gave it a little test fitting, but I have not raced with it. Back then they were a little bit bulkier, a little bit heavier. I know they've done a lot of improvements on that, and so I have a little bit of experience with them. I've seen guys wear them. I've seen them go off, and so if yours did not deploy, did you get hurt? And then so if you went over the bars, interestingly enough, from what I understand, is that if it actually senses that you rotate and go the other direction, or you get upside down, the accelerometers and the things, if it feels that you go in a bad way, that's when it starts kind of deploying in different ways. So if you just some people went over the bars, meaning they went forward, but they stayed kind of in an upright position. Maybe that is. I don't know. I could probably reach out and talk to somebody at Climb and find out, but yeah. Did you get hurt? That's the question. I wish I would have had an airbag on when I broke my ribs. I will tell you that right now. I did not have an airbag. I'm looking for my electrical connections box here. Put some stuff away. Let's see, these go here. And these are some fuses, which I know there's a box of fuses over there, but I'm going to put it in the electrical connectors miscellaneous. There we go. Okay. Yeah. No new questions, so you just get to enjoy watching. Oh, hey. So we talked about my chain guide that I pull off. See this nice, you can, maybe if I hold it up like this, it's not straight. so that one of those chain guides, definitely the Chirby's one that I was talking about, took a pretty good hit on that. Put the grease away. I got a nice video up on the KTM Sprag gears. If you want to know what a Sprag gear is like, it's a bearing, Sprag bearing, that only spins one direction. And this was one that failed in a KTM 350 at about 300 hours or so. It didn't fail, it just started squeaking. And the thing is, you want to stop them. And what really happens to them is there's a spring in the middle of this bearing. It runs around here, and that spring is kind of worn out, and that's what allows them to get funky and not perform properly. And that's another thing I have for an example. Again, another bad KTM fuel pump here that I'm going to cut apart. Somebody gave me that. I'm going to test that thing out. I also had a KTM that wouldn't start, and I traced it to this switch with a lot of hours and probably a lot of sand inside of it, and figured out what the problem was. And so on that, I'm going to replace it with this guy here. All the projects are just lined up, ready to go. Oh, and since I don't ride much, I've never worn one of these out. Huh? Countershaft sprocket. This is also going on the wall of destroyed parts. The shop's starting to look a little bit better. Feel free to answer your question. I know everybody's waiting around anxiously for Rooster Endo, which I'm going to get to really soon. Lucky I don't have to light a bee on fire. Motion Pro fuel injector cleaner. I don't know if this was out not too long ago, because after I had the fuel pump thing, I went ahead and cleaned my fuel injector. This is a really good tool to have and know how to use. So that goes back in here. This area over here is my Trailtech Voyager Pro Zone. I have a whole box full of these that needs to get put away, because a lot of times when we go riding, we use the buddy tracking. And what the buddy tracking does on the Voyager Trailtech Pro, again, Trailtech, they're up on the little corner right now, sponsor of this show. Trailtech makes the Voyager and Voyager Pro GPS unit. Buddy tracking, you basically, the guy who's leading leaves a track of where they went, and then via radio, the other people in your group can see where you went, so you don't have to stop at the intersections. You leave a track log of where you've gone, and then you can see where your buddies are at. You can see how far behind. So if it's, especially when it's dusty, you don't have to wait and group up and do all that kind of stuff that causes problems. Voyager Trailtech they make good kickstands for KTMs too, by the way. Really good kickstands, replacement ones. So when your kickstand pops or snaps off, here's my Yamaha, on one of my Yamahas, my non-magnetic drain plug bolt. Okay, got some questions coming in. Husky Holler says, I did not get hurt. I tried to find info, but it's like a secret. Oh, absolutely. I think the Climb one, believe it or not, is actually open source. There's a European group that does open source stuff about that. Let's see, Don W5ZT, Dan W5ZT says, Jimmy, I'm running into Nitro Moose and we'll be riding some highway miles between trails. Will I melt my roost running 10 to 20 miles at highway speeds? Thanks. No. Dude, I run Nitro Mooses. I've been running all different kinds of, I wish my other camera would work. I could walk over there and show you the pile of mooses that we've been testing and cutting in half and checking. And I run all of them at 70 miles an hour down the road for 20 minutes. This is one of the things that I do after the moose is broken in. Every single one of them, I just kind of, usually just before I'm going to take them off, I'll do a 70 mile an hour durability test. And during, at some point in there, I run them at 100 miles an hour on a dry lake bed for a good 4 or 5 minutes, just pinned, and get them super hot. Do not worry about riding your mooses down the highway. Everybody says, oh, they're going to fail. The ones that fail are not lubed properly, or they have broken beads, or they're improperly sized. It's one of those things. Not lubed properly, number one. Improperly sized, number two, or the installer broke the bead. So, and not lubed properly means the wrong kind of lube, like a Murphy soap, and then you've washed your bike a couple times. So don't worry about your Nitro Mooses. You can use it in between trails. I forget I have them on bikes, and I take them and ride them for 30, 40 minutes on the highway at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, 100 kilometers an hour down to Mexico all day long down the highways, 110 kilometers an hour, because that's what, when we're doing our NORA pre-running. Don't worry about it. Doug Derby, what's your preferred cleaner for air filters that doesn't deteriorate the air filter, and your favorite oil? I can show you. My go-to cleaner is Rock Oil Eco Foam. Let me get this to you. Bring it up right here. This is my air filter oil. I'm going to switch the camera over to the shop one here. Wide shop. So this is the oil. They also make it in aerosol. I did a video about this not too long ago. I actually showed you, this is the aerosol can. I prefer the pour in because I just more consistent. But this is it. This used to be called SWAF, synthetic water washable air filter oil. That's what SWAF stands for. Here's the cool part. I don't use any cleaner. You wash it out with water. I've done tests about this. I've talked about this. This stuff's great. Hard to get, but you can get it at Rottweiler Performance. Just FYI, by the way. And I have every other, I have every other kind. This is the no toil cleaner, no toil oil. I have that. I have Lucas. I have PJ1, probably from the 1960s. I have some AMSOIL stuff in here. I have the K&N for my foam filter. I got it all. I tried it all. I used it all. Let me show you my filter. Hold on. I just cleaned 2 of them today. So these were the 2 filters that came back from Mexico. Okay, there's a lot of silt down there. I washed them in water and just dried them out, and this is what they look like, and there's no oily residue or nothing. So that's what I use. Go to Rottweiler. I think there's a discount code, believe it or not, in that test. In the search, go to here, Dirt Bike Test Search Awesome. Go to dirtbiketest.com. Search air filter cleaner, and it'll come up. And then there's a code in there. And tell them Jimmy sent you. I think they only have the aerosol cans, but I don't know. I'm not in charge of their inventory. So Dirt Devil has a question. How can I clean the header pipe of cooked mud? So the way that I would do that is let it, okay, so get it wet, when the bike's cold, get it wet and let it soak. And then you can use a wire brush. Cat's going nuts. You can use a wire brush and wire brush it, or a Scotch Brite pad, and just kind of clean it like that. The other thing that'll help with it a little bit is using a little bit of WD-40 on it when you grub it, but that will clean the cooked mud. But mostly it depends on the type of mud, how well it adheres, but sometimes it adheres pretty good. But getting it wet will add some water in there and kind of like break it down. Of course, soap and water will help too, break it down. But like I found that a wire brush and WD-40 will definitely clean it. Mike Kamet, another question, says, how often in hours for suspension rebuilds? Average rider not racing off-road. Thanks. So it kind of depends on the age of the bike. Like I'd say in the first 15 to 20 hours, even maybe a little bit earlier, if you have a brand new bike, rebuild your suspension. It will definitely prolong the life of the suspension components, and the bike will work a little bit different, I always feel, especially when you do it soon. So do it in the first 15 to 20 hours, and then you can get 50 to 80 to 100 hours depending on how you ride. And what I would do is maybe next time do it at 50 hours and ask your suspension guy if he's honest, because if he's not honest, he'll tell you need to do it 20 hours. At 50 hours, go, hey, how is the fluid? And I typically could get 2 shock rebuilds for a fork rebuild, if that makes sense. But most of the times, my fork seals, especially when I was riding in more muddy conditions, my fork seals were going out about the same time I needed to have my shock serviced anyways. And so I just kind of send it all in, get it done. Or just go into that room right back there, and there's a full suspension room, and I just do it back there. But a lot of times I send it out, because that's like the guys that do it, really good at doing it, and it's worth their time. So first 20 hours, and then go with 50, and then see how you do. I have bikes around here. Like I'll roll the other bike in here in a second. I'm going to move some bikes around in a second to kind of show you some things. But my KTM 500 has 2 Baja Peninsula runs and then some riding up around here, and it's time for a suspension rebuild in a big way. I mean, you could just start feeling it. I actually went a couple clicks in, and it didn't help. Shane Monreal says KTM 300 starting. Okay, I'm going to move some bikes around here, so enjoy. Another little thing I do around here, because I have so many stupid bikes, is I make a note that tells me what. Oh, sorry, I got to check what I'm doing. Kind of tells me what I need to do. So I have these. I just write it on a paper towel. And so, for instance, this bike sitting over there, I need to do the mud flap, and I actually did the mud flap, and then I found a nice Acerbis orange one, what I think would look good in this bike. So I'm probably going to swap that back out. It says, tighten the steering. So when I was riding it, I don't think the torque in the pinch clamps was right, and it was not good. The brake pedal height was bothering me, so I need to adjust that, and I need to check to see when the last time I did the oil is. Luckily, I have an Excel spreadsheet on my phone. Did you see what I got on my phone? Like, you're never going to pick my phone up at the bar, are you? That's my cat, and that's. I told you, that's her looking back at you. Don't look at her pussy just because I said I was going to show a pussy on the thing. So anyways, I just stick a little note like this up here in between my flex handlebars, and then I remember what I'm going to do. But I'm going to go get another bike because you asked KTM 300 starting. I'll show you KTM 300 starting. This bike has been sitting back over here for at least a month. Watch out, cat. You're going to get run over. I'll find my KTM 300. It's not that far away. I'm just out here. Don't worry. Show hasn't died yet. It's amazing. I'm surprised the microphone's still working. Okay, so you asked, you shall receive KTM 300. It's a 2000. This is my personal 2019 KTM 300. I'll tell you how long ago. It was cold last time I rode it. So if that gives you any indication, it's now 100 degrees today, or 90 something today. But this bike's been sitting around. Haven't been riding it. I'm looking at it, and there's no note on it, which means I can go take it out and ride it. But I look at it, and I know I want to change the tires because I got better tires now. Some other stuff, but here's how I start it. I take the bike, and I push the start button like that, and that kind of primes it. And it has a Shuari lithium battery in there, which kind of helps it wind up. But so that's how I start my KTM 300. Okay, so how do I start it? I push the button. I'm not being a smart ass. So it's I gotta turn my lights off. There we go. Yeah, that's how I started. And in all honesty, I'd probably start it, kind of give it a couple revs for, I go like this for, and right now I would click it in gear and right away. It has a thermostat in it. It's amazing. They put thermostats in these bikes. And so it'll actually warm itself up pretty nice. I would take it and kind of start cruising out. I wouldn't get on it and do a big load. I'd just kind of cruise away. Or I'd let it sit there and idle for 15, 20, 30 seconds. I don't care, maybe a minute. It's not going to hurt anything. It doesn't have any programming to the ECU. It's completely box stock. It has actually right now it has a Tusk pipe on it, the one that Rocky Mountain sells. And an FMFQ. No, it's a special muffler. I'm sorry. It's not stock. So that's how you start a KTM 300. I'm going to go look at the questions in a second. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to bring in, hold on, I'm going to bring in another bike. I think I can ride it in. Of course, this show is brought to you by Yamaha. This is my WR450. Super fun bike. We talked about it on last week's show, so I thought I'd just ride it into the show. You should ask the other guys to do live question and answer fixed things, because I could rebuild that bike right now, but I don't need to. Okay, let's go, Jimmy. Right on, Ruben. I'm going. Dirt Devil's going to try what I said. Shane Monreal says 2020 KTM 300 started vibrating much more than usual than halfway through my last rides. Okay, so Shane, couple things. Check your pipe mounts and check your engine mount bolts and check your swing arm pivot and check to make sure that the head stay. So a head stay is part of the engine mount bolts. Check those things and see how that does for you, because those would be the reasons to have some vibration in my best estimation. So let's see. Shane says compared to a buddy's 2022 gas 300, and it definitely vibrates more. Why? Well, you got to check the things I just told you. I have seen, so the couple things that I've seen cause vibration before. I've seen guys like do really like whether it's pounding like hoops or slamming into a rock and stalling and stopping the bike. I've seen guys hit things really hard and the engine stops instantly and it actually knocks the crank out of rotation. This was an older bike. I haven't seen this new lately. So I've seen that happen before. And I knew because we pulled the engines apart and like, holy shit, the crank was out of round, or it had somehow, done a little twist. But yeah, there was that. Just different bikes act a little bit different sometimes. KTMs versus gases, you have a slightly different frame and a linkage and different stuff. Oh, hey, the other thing to check is to make sure your shock spring preload isn't loose, because I've seen the shock springs start vibrating. They just get loose and do that. So try those things. Lots of different reasons. The other thing is I've seen guys hit rocks really hard and dent the frames. Put a big old ding or a dent in the frame, and then all of a sudden the bike starts vibrating. But check the muffler is the easy one. Engine mount bolts, all that stuff's really good. Dan Parker got a question. So Shane, if I didn't answer it, keep coming back in the chat, and I will. Don't do the J-Rev. Does J-Rev his bikes? Dirt bike test J-Revs his bikes? I don't know. Dan Parker has a question. Is there an interval you replace boots even if they seem in good condition? I just broke the plastic shin protection on my 9-year-old Garney SG10 without taking a big hit. The plastic became very rigid. Yeah. Do I replace them? Hold on. Boots. There's a boot question. I'll be right back. Okay. So I wear, for the most part, unless I'm doing photo modeling and stuff, I wear seedy boots. So I just went and grabbed the boots that I was wearing the other day as they were outside. I'm going to switch over my computer here. Hold on. Can't find my cursor. There it goes. There we go. Watch out. Okay. So yes, plastic becomes brittle. After 9 years, I suspect it would. These were the boots that I rode down in Baja with. I didn't ride much because I was here. But when do I replace these boots? Good thing CDs have replaceable soles, so I can replace these. Overall, they're pretty. But 9 years, I think that's a pretty good run. Garnets are good boots, really good boots, especially if you have a bigger, wider foot. And yeah, so how often do I replace them? Well, I have about 15 pairs of boots. So I don't replace them that often. But CD, if you're listening, I want to try the new boot because I hear it's a little bit lighter, and that is a complaint with most boots. But these are, every piece on this boot is almost all replaceable. So I actually wear the parts that aren't replaceable out kind of before it's time to get new ones. But replace as necessary. 9 years, I think it's good. I would say if you get 5 years out of a boot, you're doing really, really good. Okay, let's see what the next question in the chat is. Shane said he checked the mounts. And which boots have a wide toe box? Garnets. Garnets. I know CD has been working on widening in their toe box. I actually run a 10 street shoe and an 11 boot, if that helps you out with the CD. So I run, and I don't mind because I'm kind of short a toe. I don't know if you can see that the toe. There's one's missing on that thing. So yeah, that can be problematic. But I like a little extra toe wiggle room in there, so those piggies don't get too smashed up. Formas have a wide box, and he has hobbit feet, says Mike Kmet. And he wishes he had his Tony D boots. Well, you just dated yourself there, Mike, even though your name kind of dates you, because Mike Kmet, and for all those kids, because I know all the kids are watching the show, because I said I was going to show some pussy. The kids, Kmet used to be a radio station, a rock and roll radio station in Los Angeles. And I think that's why Mike has that there. I actually think I listen to KLOS more, but I think Kmet, didn't Dr. Domeno, wasn't he on Kmet back in the day, late night? So just some of the things you remember. I'm not that old. I'm a kid. Okay. So here's another thing. I change oil filters every once in a while. So these, get these at Tusk. You want to support this channel? You want to support some of the stuff we do? If you want to be like Mike, you can just send us $1 million right through the YouTubes. You just be a Prime supporter. Thanks, Mike, for that. I mean, I already had $1 million, but $1 million more never hurt. You can get the things you shop through. Go to Dirt Bike Test. Click the Support Us link. I should actually do this on the browser on the screen, but I'm going to go play with the computer. I'll show you how to do it in a minute, because we're going to do Rooster Endo, Taco Moto's Rooster Endo. But this show would not be possible without a lot of our sponsors. They're all clicking through there up on the screen. So if I point, it's like, look, hold on, right there. Look, these are the companies that support us. Bulletproof Designs. If you need really good billet products, billet parts, things like, I use these. See, I have them right here. They're ready to go on bikes. Radiator guards, like these, are the bomb. I have them on my Yamaha right here. So see this Yamaha? Watch this. This is my radiator. You wouldn't do that with your radiator. I can do it with mine because I have these guards on it. So Bulletproof Designs, helping us out for a long time. What's even cool is the Bulletproof Designs, when I put on the King of the Motos race back in the 1940s, that was where we did that stone wheel hard enduro thing. They came out and helped. They worked a checkpoint for me. So super into the industry. And when you buy that knockoff crap, you're just a knockoff piece of crap yourself. So I just want to let you know. What other things do we have here? What other things do we have in the shop? Other things I'm testing. So rental bikes, they tip over all the time. They might get the Tusk scripts, but Jimmy is using some of the ODIs because I like those. But you know what I use more often than not? I'll show you a secret. I'm going to hang these things up because that's where they go. This is the grip department over here. On my rally bikes or adventure bikes, this is the secret. So if you want to get these, get them at Rocky Mountain. So go to Rocky Mountain, click on the Support Us link, get them, buy them there. This is a big comfort thing for those that are wanting to know. Dual sport, if you're doing dual sport, all of my dual sport. This bike does not have foam grips. The bike I'm going to bring in next, my long distance Baja bike, does have foam grips, and you can tell everybody that you heard it from me. and use our code. So yeah, I got a lot of grip projects going on. This here it says KTM fuel pump. It's empty right now because I had the one that failed. So this is all part of the failed products. I need to put this because this goes in my travel pouch, so I have a spare fuel pump, even though I've only ever had to replace one. That's the first one I've ever had to replace. I got to put this funnel away, back down in here. Another thing I use a lot of is a double take. I don't know if they're on the rotation, but I use a lot of double take parts. And let me show you some stuff here because I'm going to get to this. Yeah, this show is just turning out to be just all of my sponsors. So this is the new double take mirror, the new double take mirror system. So what is cool about these is they have developed their own ram ball mount kind of thing. So the mirror is the same, and they have all the bolts and the mount kits that come with it. You just put in which bike you want. If you want a discount code, you can also email me for this stuff. But they have the new arm that has better clamping than the older ones. So I run these on all of my bikes, and then because it's using that ball mount system, I have different things when I'm testing stuff where I need certain GPS units or I'm running a rally computer or something. All my stuff has these balls mounted onto it, and then everything's just really quick and interchangeable. And then I can, like this bike here, does this one have it? Yep, there's a ram ball mounted right here. So if I want to clip my iPhone on, I can clip it on and then do some stuff with that. So that's one of the things. All of my Trail Tech Voyager Pros, for instance, they are mounted on a ram ball. So this mount here, so I just clamp it on there. And if I want to take my mirror off, I just clamp this thing on here and then the plug it in because I have the wire on most of the bikes. So easy to take them on and off. So support those companies that support us. Okay, time for Roosterendo, I think. Unless there's more questions, which there might. Yep, San Felipe Bob likes KMET. Yes, Dr. D, but that's my real name. Easy to spell. They used to send me t-shirts. Okay. Now we know the real story. So let me do some stuff here, organize some things on the computer here. I was going to go to dirt bike test. Dirt bike test. Okay, so now I'm going to go here and I'm going to show you my browser. Yeah, I know the audio went away. Let me fix that here real quick. Let's see, browser. Okay, so now we have sound. I've maybe allegedly fixed it. So let me go back. See, I can fix things on the fly, but if I had a producer, let's see. Yeah, you lost sound. I know. And I can tell you're an Asperger for supper. Had Asperger for Asperger's. Yeah. Let's see. Your nephew's RM250 might qualify for endo. Well, did he send it in? Let's see. Okay, so we're going to go back. I will show you one more time with sound how you can support this particular thing. So you go to Dirt Bike Test. We have all this cool content on Dirt Bike Test and all these cool stories, but you go up here and you go to Support Dirt Bike Test and you click right here on Shop Rocky Mountain. You go there and then you buy stuff and we get a little bit of it. Or you go here, support, and then you go shop Amazon and then you can buy slippers and women's sandals like George wants to wear and swimsuits, women's swimsuits that George wants to wear and pajamas that I think George wants to wear because he thinks I have Asperger's. But, go to Dirt Bike Test, support us. We do appreciate that. And we'll see what's up in the chat. And we're going to get to Rooster Endo because I have to do, this is going to be tricky because I have to make a second screen. I got to pull this out over here, and I need to put it into this here, like so. And now I can't see what I'm doing, which is kind of normal for me. But anyways, I'll go like that, and then I go like, uh-oh. Now we're having technical difficulties. Let's see where we're at here. Got it. Now I can do this. So if I go to browser, Husky Holler sent in a rooster endo, and it's one of these. So let me figure. I gotta do some technical shit. This is what you have like a helper for. I could probably do these things. If I set that there, I can see that. I can go here. We go here. Okay. So, does Amazon sell beer? I don't know, but it's making me thirsty. I'll tell you that right now. Do I have any water? I don't think so. Okay. So I got to make this disappear. I got to go to this one here. I got it. Nope. Hey, this is Words for the Wise, by the way. No matter how rich and famous you become, you just end up hosting a podcast. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate your concern, and we'll go there. But here is our Rooster Endo. This is Husky Holler's bike. I don't know why he's Husky Holler if he has a Yamaha XT250. This is 2017 Yamaha XT250. Saved from the boneyard, a theft recovery. He has TKC80s off his other bike. That's probably his Husky. New white plastic, a wire harness, LED bulb, some kind of handguards, and it's great riding two up while camping. And Eric, who is Husky Holler, says, thanks for the show. So we're going to take a good close look at his bike. I have not looked at it that close, but so as you know, I'm a big stickler for photography. I'm really into the photography, and I'm going to give you a demerit for the effort you went in to take this photo, which looks like you walked out of your hauler, which you have a nice, is that an instant on water heater in there? And a pop-up shower? That's a pretty cool little thing there. So you might have tripped over the motorcycle and said, oh shit, I've got to shoot a photo of this thing so Jimmy can put it on Rooster Endo. But since it's a Yamaha, you're going to get extra bonus credit there. I do like the clean white look. You got some good hand guards on it. You should put double take mirrors on it. Pirelli does make some nice tires for that bike, but it's totally street legal. I get the double up part. I hope you have a little tiny wife and you're a small guy yourself. I'm going to say, and then you can chime in on the chat. You can add your thoughts on whether this thing, we already have. It's the Crazy Nate Special. Yes, that's one of Crazy Nate's favorite bikes. And a Husky Hacker, he needs to show the pipe side. He needs to do a better photo altogether. This is given. I'm going to say that since it's a Yamaha and I'm a shill for our sponsors, I'm going to say that this bike totally roosts. 100% roost. I like it, but the photo sucks. And for that, I'm going to have to move on to the next one. So let me see here. I got to find the email that goes along with it, which is even more difficult. Jade Christie. And let me get his bike up here. There we go. What is it with you people taking pictures of your bike right next to your motorhome? Like, I saw where that XT was. I saw those nice pine trees, a little dusty looking, but I'll give you that. But you could take it. Hello, this is my 2012 KTM 300 XCW. Most of my riding is in single track and out in the desert. I've also raced District 37 Hare and Hounds. This bike is around for a while and through a few owners, so it has a lot of extra parts. I've owned it for 3 years and have added, and everybody's wondering what the damn bike looks like. Hold on. There it is. There we go. Yeah. You've owned it for, okay, so lots of years. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. There we go. He's owned it for 3 years. A Thrill Seeker seat cover that was custom designed by my son. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let's look at that. You can kind of see it up there on the top. Sort of see that. It looks like it has something on the top. It looks, I don't know, is it slippery? FMF expansion chamber, enduro engineering skid plate, GPR damper, lots of random parts from Rocky Mountain ATV MC. So the photos are really big. He's actually running the Tusk front tire. I can see that. And I think the Tusk, yeah, he's running the Tusk rear tire. So you are a cheapskate, but that's okay because a lot of us are. And let's see, Jake Christie's 2012 KTM. That's not a bad bike. I think that's after they changed the frame, so they got a lot better back then. Photo sucks. Again, you tripped over your bike before you. Oh, I need to shoot a photo of it and send it to Jimmy. And your motorhome, it looks nice too. So next, the next one is what do we think? What does the chat think about this particular bike? Let me try to call that up. It's in here someplace. There's a, let's see, where's the chat at? I lost it. I hope I didn't lose it. I lost it. Where'd the chat go? Oh, it's in the other one. Maybe I turned it off. Here we go. Here's the chat. Let's see what the chat thinks. Roost. Oh, well, Jake, yeah, of course he thinks it roosts. The front discard moho in background. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see. Did it really have? No, that's a stock discard. Those things are. It's an Achirby's one. It's a plastic one. It's okay. He has a chain guide. He has a good chain guide on it, I think. Let's see what he's got there. Yeah, it's got a good. It looks like the TM Design Works kit. That's some of the lots of extra parts. It has a looks like an E-line skid protector. Got a really good headlight if it's a Baja Designs one. Some Achirby's handguards, those get an approval. Looks good. Jake says it roosts. I'm going to go with it roosts also. And Husky Holler, he stole the idea of having the RV in the background. Yeah. That's still a good bike today, says Doug Derby. So you're getting some props. I'm going to go with roost. And then I'm also going to try to find the next bike on the list. Bear with me for a moment, because I think this one came in sort of last. Oh, I got a question here. So I'm going to go ahead and read this question. It says, hello, Jimmy. Email question. You can email me my name at Dirt Bike Test, and I can answer the questions on this show. Am I going to type you back an answer? Not unless you send me $100 million on the internets. And cash. I like cash. Hello, Jimmy. I have a riding related question. How do you safely utilize a GPS or a phone navigation device mounted on your bars while riding in new territory? What policies or rules do you have about looking at them? They are amazing tools, but also increase the probability of a crash. His background. Todd, I landed in the ER back in fall, and I attributed to distracted riding, or me looking at my navigation device while leading other riders in unfamiliar terrain. I was not traveling fast. I hit a rock in the road, lost balance, and ate dirt. I'm back riding, he says he thinks, and I need to change something. I've considered using a screen lock or mounting device so it's difficult to see. What do you think? Let's see. He's got a Tim Morton quote. Motorcycling is not of itself inherently dangerous. It is, however, extremely unforgiving of inattention, ignorance, or incompetence or stupidity. So I look forward to any thoughts you have in this. Thank you. So I'm going to reply back right now and tell him answered on ANSWR, answered on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday 246. Live now. There we go. So see, I answer emails. That's about as much typing as you're going to get out of me right now. So I put screens up all the time. And as a former professional rally racer, we had a big screen in front of us that had a lot of pictures on it and drawings. And then one thing that I teach in my rally navigation class, which I still to this day teach because it's an online thing and I can do that. And generally I work for teams that have good insurance policies and they can cover me. You're either racing or you're navigating. Or in your world, Todd, you're either riding or you're navigating. So what you were doing was you were trying to ride with your eyes closed, and it caught up with you, and it will catch up with anybody. So I try to not ride with my eyes closed, and I try to not ride while being distracted, just like texting and driving. You've all done it. You know how stupid it is. So don't do that. The mount system I use a system from, let me see, I'll go ahead and show you this. I'm going to get to the last rooster endo, I promise. I'm going to show you. So I use, this is my phone connection stuff here, by the way. There's another box I happen to have handy. And I use stuff from SP Connect, right here, this company. So I use their stuff, and it's currently on, one of them's in my truck because I actually took it off of a bike down in Mexico, and the other one's on my Tenere. So it basically has this little thing here, and then where's my phone at? I was talking to that Hunter kid on it. So basically, here's the back of my phone case. It's a really good phone case. It clicks in like this, and this is the hardest thing about it, and you can watch the test we did on it. We talk about this, and then it clicks in like that. And this is secure. It's on a vibration mount, and so that's how I mount my thing. Just like I said earlier, it's generally mounted onto a ram ball setup, which is the thing. So hopefully I was holding that up high enough when I did that. That's what I use. But I try not to look at it. And if I look at it at times when I know I'm not going to crash, which sounds pretty stupid, but yeah, I try to do that. So that's the way. Let's see. How do you send bikes? Ask MX Beans. You would, so here's how you get your bike in for Rooster Endo. You send me an email with a picture of your bike, and then you tell me a little bit about your bike, and then we decide whether it roosts or it endos. It has that Trail Tech kickstand. Of course it does. So check out the sponsors that are flashing up in the corner. Those are the companies that help us out with the show. So you send bikes. You can just send the bike here, and then I'll take it and ride it. And I'll tell you whether it roosts or endos also. But I got so many of my own bikes. You know, I really hate to do this, but I can't help myself. Really can't help myself. I like blue bikes, and they just don't lie. Yep. If you wonder, how does he talk? Why is he always talking about Husabergs and stuff like that? You know, they're blue. It's Blue Crew. So look at that one. Look at that chariot. 650 cc's of arm yanking power, my friend. It's got a freaking carburetor on it. Thing's ready to explode, and it's more torque than you could ever imagine. What an awesome bike. So that's the Husaberg. That bike freaking roosts, and it would win every Rooster Endo every time, anytime. You can send any bike that you want in, and you're not going to win because this bike is going to always win. So getting to the end of the Milagro, I don't know where's big tickets. So cheers. Thanks to my friend Kelly for this awesome little rock salt sipper. But when this bike comes in, you just got to stand back and respect. A moment of silence for my bike. So nice. So nice. You want to hear it start? It probably won't, so I'm not going to do it because it kind of requires, this thing makes so much power, you have to kick it and push the start button at the same time. But that's not all. I'll be right back. Because there's more. So today in the shop, we are live streaming, and we can do all kinds of stuff. But what would life be? What would life be without, and I'm not bragging or anything, but you know, when you just have these things laying around like cordwood, you know, another Husaberg. So this is the 570 version. This is the 70-degree motor Husaberg, which again, what an awesome machine. I can kind of give you a little. There we go. It's gonna change. I got to get it to go tracking again. Here we go. Follow my hand right there. Look at this. That's a 70-degree motor. And if you don't know much about that, oh boy, this thing isn't doing what it's supposed to do right now. But yeah, just another Husaberg. Again, I can't really help myself, but fine machinery. Again, if you want to win Roosterendo, and I mean, I just pulled it out. I didn't even set it up as a nice photo, but I'll tell you, this bike, I rode it the other day. Here's my headlight adjuster. So if you ever wonder like how you make things work, somebody asked me what this was for. Well, I came back at night and I had to make my headlight. It was pointed up at the sky. So I just stuffed that behind here because one of the little rubber straps broke. Because it is a 2008 model and kind of like those boots that we were talking about earlier, plastic brakes. So it's got a broken plastic in there. So anyways, there's some Husabergs for your enjoyment. Now let's get back to the real Roosterendo, where you guys are going to lose. You only have 3. Berg needs 2-wheel drive. There's a lot of bells there. Yep. That's where you send the thing to. Roll chart, ICO, and a clack will distract you. Yeah, enduros. San Felipe Bob just did one of his training wheels enduros for his club. Good on him for putting that work in. Berg's the original ready to race bike. No, they're ready to blow up. I don't know about ready. They're great bikes as long as you don't have to work on them. Okay. Last Roosterendo. Last one for tonight. I'm going to find it. I'm finding the email right now. Tyler Wallace sent me in a picture that he obviously didn't take too much time shooting photos of. Let's go. I got it up. It's locked and loaded. Here is Tyler's photo of his bike in the frickin' shop, just like Jimmy just did. I don't even know what that is on the floor. What is that? It looks like a broken coffee cup. Anyways, his shop is almost as messy as mine. And he sent in his bike, which is, and I will tell you what it is here in a second when I get it screened up again. Here's his bike. Okay, so he did it pipe side, which is nice. I mean, it's nice that he went pipe side, but never turn the handlebars away. I think he's trying to show off the Fasst Company Flex handlebars, but I'm going to go ahead and go through his list. This is a 2020 Husqvarna FX 450. Tyler Walls bike. KYB conversion done by Technica Touch is what he says. 6-speed conversion by my buddy Chris Blaze. So you know it was done right. IMS tank. He has an FMF full system on that thing. A GPR stabilizer. Fasst Company flex bars. Fast weight extended pegs. So those are the foot pegs that have, and I'm going to zoom it in here. They have that little drop down thing on the very back that allows, so it's kind of to protect from Achilles tendon, like if you're riding on the balls of your feet and your foot flexes back, it's to protect from doing that. An SXS skid plate, disc guards. And he says, and by the way, I live over the mountain in boop and have some really good single track. If you're ever interested, come on over. I also have a really nice YZ250X since the podcast is sponsored by Yamaha. Okay. That's a little bit of brown nosing. That's pretty solid brown nosing. I'm gonna give your bike a roost, okay? Because you've done some pretty good stuff to it. I like the roost part of it. You missed Mark DeShane. What? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. I didn't miss anything. KTM pinched that slogan. Ready to race is from Husaberg. No, Husaberg was 4-stroke force. I'm pretty sure. And J Ray says, were the 2000s Bergs pretty reliable or grenades? Everything until 2008 is a grenade. Everything is a grenade. Well, it depends. They were trying to make things so high performance, the Swedish Husabergs, and then when KTM took over, they tried to mend some of the stuff, but it's unmendable. And then then KTM canceled them, and you saw where that got KTM. Pretty sure that the reason KTM had their financial failure of late is because they canned Husaberg before its time. So take it from me. I actually tried to buy Husaberg. I asked the president of KTM if he would sell it, and he actually considered it. So the votes are coming in. George, can you send me the receipt of the girl's swimsuit you bought on Amazon? Where's Victor at? That's who we need to know where he's at. And my phone's starting to bling, which obviously means that people are wanting discount codes. They're sending in Rooster Endos. First, you have to sponsor the show. By sending us money on YouTube. We'll take $100, and then we can do next week's show. Otherwise, I'm gonna just go riding or skiing. Actually, I'm gonna go get my last days up at Mammoth. Try to burn some turns in the slush. Maybe on a ski, maybe on a snowboard, maybe on an electric bike. You never know. That's what I got. So George is voting for bike one. I'm gonna run back through the different bikes to see what we have here. That's bike number one, right there. That is the other one. Let's call this up here. This is this is bike number one. This is the XT225. This is bike number two. So throw it up in the chat when you get there. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a delay. I'll go talk about Husabergs. I can waste hours doing that. And this is bike number three. So it's Rooster Endo. I can tell you why any of them should win, and I can tell you why I think I know what I'm gonna pick, but I'm not sure. It's probably not. But you can definitely swing my opinion. We'll keep an eye on the chat to see what everybody says. Bike number three, says Joe. Yeah. At least it's not your bike. I'm waiting for. Well, so Victor doesn't have internet from the Guatemalan prison. Let's see. The San Felipe Bob is going for bike number one, the XT. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Some of the guys are in the. If you actually, so I know Jake was actually in there, and he hasn't voted for his bike yet. He did say it roosted. I think we agreed with them on that. And who was the other person that was in there? So we have one person. Doug Derby picks bike two. Was that your bike? I'm trying to remember whose bikes these were. Husky Hauler. Who's Husky Hauler? Well, he was in the chat, but he hasn't picked his own bike. He's Eric. I'm trying to keep all the names together here. Let's see. Oh, Husky Hauler votes for the Husky. Wait a minute. Husky Hauler is not voting for his own bike. Okay, is that some kind of a what do they call that? Reverse psychology? I don't know. And then Jake says KTM Jake, so he's voting for himself. Jake Christie says 2. Okay, now he's double voted for his bike. So we're gonna see. I'm just gonna walk around. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes because I know there's a big delay. So that's bike 2. You can vote for bike 2. You can vote for bike number 3, which is the Husky, or you can vote for bike number 1, which is the Yamaha XT. Again, Yamaha is an awesome sponsor of this show, and that's why you're going to get to look at 2 Husabergs over here. My 2 Husabergs. I'm gonna push my blue Yamaha out of the shop right now, and I'm gonna finish the show talking about what I'm gonna do to my next bike. The next thing I'm gonna modify in here. I think I can do that. There might be enough room. We'll see. Hey, I got the shop a little bit cleaner. I didn't finish my tequila all the way off yet. So every bike is for sale, by the way. I'm selling everything. So if you want to buy any of these bikes, just remember you're going to pay COVID prices on all this stuff. None of this Trump era stuff that, since the economy's crashing and everything's cheap, right? There's tariffs. I put tariffs on all these motorcycles. So if you want to buy one of my motorcycles, it has a Jimmy Lewis tariff on it, and then you have to pay extra. Plus COVID pricing, because I'm not falling for any of this. KTM is going to disappear in 2 weeks because the Indians just bought them, by the way. So they're all going to be produced in India with Chinese parts, in case you were wondering. No, none of that is true. Just go buy a Yamaha. I'm going to show you something here. So the next bike I'm bringing into the studio. Oh, and when I was talking about the Climb Knack Pack, by the way, this is the Climb Knack Pack I use. It has a fuel bag hooked up to it, all stuff. I like this backpack. One of the best. Someplace on Dirt Bike Test, I go through what I carry inside of my backpack. If you ever wondered what I carry with me, we did a cool contest. Climb gave away a new backpack. We should probably do that one. But here's look at this Chariot. This bike would win too, and I'll show you what I got for it. It was in this box, but it's not here right now. I got a part. Just hold on. So this is what we got. This showed up. Uh-oh, I lost you. I'm over here. Hello. Tracking. Come here, bud. Camera's got to follow me. BBR. So check out, because I ride a TTR 125 sometimes. If you have a TTR 125, you need the BBR frame cradle. Because I didn't have it on there, and I actually got a little aggressive right here. And so you need, that's a must need part, and I'll show you why. Because I have an enduro version of the same bike that I built. So when people tell you that I don't practice what I preach, this is my custom TTR 125 enduro version, and I'm going to turn the handlebar to the respectful direction like that, so you get to see. This is my TTR 125E. It has the BBR skid plate on it. Fasst Company flex handlebars. It does not have a steering stabilizer. It's got good hand guards on it. Stiffer spring, one stiffer spring in the fork, a stiffer shock spring. Got some good wheels. They're not steel anymore. I got some aluminum wheels. All this is BBR stuff that I put on this. So those bikes would have roost. I'm going to come back and look at the chat right now and see what you guys decided in there for the thing. Yep, Monkey Crow. Where's an XR 400? Joe says I need to have 2 more shots. Dean Kemp says bike 3. That's because Dean's a husky guy. Let's see. All picks blow, so the winner should buy a shot of tequila for JL. Okay, well, I'm going to buy my own shot because I'm almost done. So close to being done. Bike 1, the KTM 300, says Doug. It looks like it's kind of a tie from the crowd, so I'm going to be the final deciding factor. I was going to go with bike 1 just because it was a Yamaha. Okay, well, that's it. I think we're done. Mission accomplished. I was going to go with bike 1 just because it was a Yamaha, because that's the way we roll a lot of times in the show, but not tonight. I was going to go with bike 3, $1 million for the Husaberg. I was going to go with bike 3. And I was so close but he's got all the stuff done to it. It's a good bike. It roosts. All the photos sucked. If one of those photos would have been a good photo, you would have won immediately. But I'm going to choose the bike that wins, Roosterendo, brought to you by Takamoto. You're going to get a $100 gift certificate from Takamoto. You have to send me an email and tell me that you won. Remind me that you won. Or just reply to the original message. Bike 2, because that guy's a cheapskate, and that $100 is going to go a long way with that guy. So I could tell, it's thoughtful. He's thrifty. $100 is going to go a lot farther for that guy than anybody else. And both bike 2 and 3 guys, don't tell anybody where you ride. Keep it under the wraps. Yeah, we already did Roosterendo. Wait a minute. Are you Tyler? No, that's Jake. Yeah, we did Roosterendo. Tyler, were you one of the guys? I can't remember. So anyhow, yeah, bike 2, send me a thing. So Bob, just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean that I get a boo. I probably deserve it. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining in and watching this show. I've managed to make it 2 hours solo, and OBS just disconnected. Oh boy, it just glitched. We're having a lot of problems on the internets right now. That's probably because I'm uploading stuff onto YouTube right now in the other building. But everybody, yeah, thanks for joining in. Or maybe because we just passed 100 million viewers on this show. Yeah, we're way up there. You have no idea how much money we're making off of this, doing this show right now. Number 3 had too many bedpans on the floor. Did? It looked like it had a coffee cup underneath it or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure. So let me close this thing down. Close that one down. I have to look one more time at my picture here. Uh-oh. Things are going crooked here on the show. So that means we're going to shut it down. So last sip of tequila. Thanks again to all our sponsors. They've been kind of going up there on the corner. Thanks to Climb, Bulletproof Designs, Fasst Company, Double Take Mirrors, the Brown Brothers, BBR Racing, Trail Tech. Lots of them that kind of roll through there. Takamoto for the Roosterendo segment. If you need parts for your bike, you need a fuel pump after your fuel pump goes out because you're like Trevor and you throw dirt into it. Then go to Takamoto. They have all kinds of cool stuff. With that, Mr. Smithers gives us a smile and a settings. Yeah, if you want to be a producer on this show, you have to know something about motorcycles and know how to run a camera and all that stuff. With that, I'm back riding again. My ribs are healed up enough to let it rip. I just can't ride Husabergs, so I'm going to ride TTR 125s. Good thanks to Yamaha and all of our sponsors again. So with that, Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number 240. Can you believe we've done this 246 times? I can't. We will see you out on the trail. So cheers, everybody.
If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.